Hi, Fierce Tiger here. If you recall, the last time I was painting, I was working on these two miniatures, a Gene Stealer Tyranid and a Space Marine Terminator. As I was cleaning up my shelves, I found some miniatures that belonged to a board game called Star Saga, made by Mantic Games. The heroes of Star Saga are in blue, and the enemies are in red. I bought this game because I like the variety of characters, and especially the neat science fiction terrain and plastic miniature that come in the box. Generally, with board games, terrain comes in the form of cardboard pieces that you lay flat on the table, or slot together to give you that 3D effect, but I didn't have an emotional attachment to this game. So if I mess up a paint job on it, I wouldn't be too sad. The red ones consist of 4 Corporation Rangers, 6 Corporation Marines, 4 lab technicians, and 6 security guards. And also 4 plague victims, but I'm only going to deal with just the station personnel. First, these bad boys and girls needed to be primed. My favorite way of priming miniatures is to place a few on a paint stick with taffy stuff to mount them. It's much easier to avoid getting paint on your hands, but I still use a glove. I had some Citadel black primer that I thought would work well because the paint job was going to be on the dark side to match the artwork on the enemy game cards. These are my new set of brushes. There are rounds, flats, and liners from size 004 to size 3. I chose 003 primarily because it didn't have a protective cover on it, and it was about the right size too. So I'm thinking I'd go with gray here because the lab technician seems like a good place to start because it's very obvious what the color should be. With that, what's that? Yellow stripes, dark knee pads and shoulder pads. So I'm trying out this gray, see how that works. I put the paint on that piece of paper, which is actually my wet palette. It is a sponge underneath that has holding water. The paper is actually parchment paper that you can use for cooking. I don't know if you noticed, but I have a miniature holder sitting over there to my left. And I finally realized, what am I doing? Why am I holding the miniature? Why am I not using this miniature holder that I made specifically for this? Well, at least I remembered. It also makes it a lot easier to get to those places underneath the miniature, the bottom sides, that are really hard to see. And if you're holding it by the base, it's a lot harder. Even though the width of the miniature holder is a little wider than the base, it's definitely a lot easier to see underneath at a distance instead of holding it in my hands. You're also less likely to drop the miniature if you're holding it with your fingertips around the edge of the base. You're probably wondering why I don't speed up this process. Well, one of the reasons I want to show you how long it actually takes to paint a miniature, not a quickie, make it look like it's a quickie job that's easy to do in 10 minutes. It takes some time. I mean, you have to get it the right. Well, I'm also trying to get a good angle for the camera too, but it takes time to look around on the model and see what you're doing. Once I paint this one, I'll have a better idea of what to paint and what not to paint in the other 3 miniatures that are lab technicians. Well, it does look like I'm being careful. I am splashing over painting in spots, but I'm not going to worry about it too much because I can come back and paint it the right color, the darker black or blue, dark blue color that it needs to be. But I don't want to be totally careless about where I'm putting the paint either. So I'm looking for the areas that are actually the gray areas that are expected. I have the card actually in front of me, or a picture, an example picture of what it should look like. Well, that looks like that's all of the gray for there. I think that'll do it for now. Let this one dry.